talk about it, but Scott Quigg is back. Remember he had his jaw broken by earlier this year by Carl Frampton. And even with his jaw broken, those later rounds, he put on a good fight, with a broken jaw. So he wants a rematch with Carl Frampton, but truth be told, I really don't think it's going to happen. I could see him maybe fighting maybe a Gary Russell, or maybe a Lee Selby. Will he fight Lomachenko? It's all depending on if he wants to make that move up or not. If he wants to make that move up or not. But there's still that Rigondeaux fight out there. He said he would fight Rigondeaux. So there's fights out there for Scott Quigg, but Eddie Hearn is likely going to be building his career back up and getting him some, fights that he should win. For example, he's fighting Jose Cayetano. I've seen him fight before. I forgot against who. Leo Santa Cruz. He's fought Leo Santa Cruz, lost to him in a unanimous decision. I believe he used to be a sparring partner of Leo Santa Cruz, if I'm correct. And then Leo Santa Cruz fought a sparring partner. He fought Alejandro Gonzalez. Remember, Alejandro Gonzalez was the guy who gave Carl Frampton some problems his first fight here in the States. We provided full coverage for that fight. And basically, Jesus Navarro, but that's so old. And basically, he's a Mexican come forward fighter, and he hasn't been stopped before. So it's going to be interesting to see. Oh, and he's not known to be a knockout fighter. He only has KOs. He only has 9 KOs. So I'm pretty much sure they took that into account when picking him, because they don't want to put somebody in there that can, fuck Scott Quigg Joe up even further. You see what I'm saying? So the question is now, how long is it going to take Eddie Hearn to get him back to a world title shot? But also, how many of these tune-up fights? Eddie Hearn likes to keep his fighters busy. Say, oh, yeah, Scott Quigg fight now, then have him fight in February, then have him fight in May, and then, give him his own card and probably, give him a few months off, give him his own card in September, and then maybe have him in a title shot by, like December or January. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes from there. He seemed like a cool dude. I want to meet him. He was here for a fight earlier this year, and I couldn't get to it. I would love to interview him. He seemed like a cool dude. So looking at the 126-pound, division, and I'm guessing, he's going to be fighting at 126 now, right? I guess he's going to be fighting at 126 now. But if he's going to stay at 122 or go back to 122, then you have, Guillermo Rigondeaux. I was talking earlier like he was fighting at 126. You have Rigondeaux, that fight's still out there, and right now he's fighting Cayetano for the WBA International Featherweight title. So they may try to get the WBA to, make them the world champion, and then just completely duck Rigondeaux again, and Rigondeaux to be the super world. They don't have to fight each other unless the WBA orders it to happen, but it's the WBA, so it's a long story. You got Jonathan Guzman. Of course, you got Jesse Magdaleno. Who knows? We could see that fight that they talked about in the past between him and Nonito Donaire. So there's fights out there for him, but I'm wondering, and he's a big dude, for 122. I'm wondering if he's going to be fighting at 126, because they weighed in. I'm sorry to say it earlier in the video. Scott Quigg weighed in at the 126, 125 and a quarter, to where, wait a minute, how is this for a vacant title? He weighed in, Cayetano weighed in at 127 and a quarter. So I'm wondering, it's supposed to be for the WBA International Featherweight title. Maybe only Scott Quigg can win it. I guess. Whatever. Yeah, I guess only Scott Quigg can win it. But yeah, there are questions, and I'm guessing I'm guessing that he's just, he's on a rebuilding path. When did he get his jaw broke? And it's crazy. He fought a good fight to a point where, at certain points in time, it looked like Cole Frampton was having some problems with the pressure in the body shot. This was in February. Yeah, February. And I don't know how it was a split decision, where he lost to Cole Frampton. So now we're in December. He's fighting Cayetano. I expect for him to have maybe between now and the end of 2017, maybe 5 fights. But it all depends on when or what title path they're going to take. Because right now, if he's fighting at 126 and he's fighting for a WBA international title, what I've learned about Eddie Hearn is you can always see what title path they're taking by which one of those underling belts they go after. So, for example, if you see somebody win the WBC Intercontinental title, the WBC International title, then that means he's sending that fight on the WBC path. In this case, I have to assume that he's sending, he's trying to get Scott Quigg to be ordered to be an eventual, sometime in 2017, to be an eventual Cole Frampton or Leo Santa Cruz or whoever had the WBA title at the time mandatory. So I really think that he's done with 122 pounds from the looks of things. I really think he's done with it. And also, if he stays there, he's always going to be questioned about Rigondeaux. Already people are going to say, well, he's ducking Rigondeaux, but I really believe that maybe it's a weight thing. That's what I personally believe. But anyway, I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. I'm going to be covering basically this whole card. I'm covering the Scott Quigg fight. I'm covering the Callum Smith fight. I'm covering, of course, Luis Ortiz, David Allen, of course, White versus Chisora, Joshua Molina. Then we have so many other fights that day. You got the motherfucking return of Robert Peralta. David Peralta, the guy who beat Robert Guerrero. You got Abner Maris, Jesus Cuellar, Julian J. Rock Williams versus Jamal Charlo. Or Charlo versus Williams. You got Maris versus Cuellar. You got Molina. You got Crawford versus Molina. You got Parker versus Ruiz. You got Chavez Jr. versus British. You got a lot. It's a lot of fights. Please subscribe. All the links to my social media right down below in the description box. This is TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live.